The allocation for defense in the union budget is 4.43% higher than the revised estimates of last year and 9.8% higher than the budget estimates of last year. There was also what appeared to be a big push for Make in India in defense, which could bring some cheer to India Inc. Before we delve into the details, let's understand the breakup of this budget's defense allocation. Of the 5.25 trillion rupees allocated for defense, the revenue allocation takes up 2.33 trillion rupees, while the capital allocation stands at 1.52 trillion rupees and defense pensions at 1.19 trillion rupees. Capital allocation is meant to cover both new purchases as well as payments for past procurements. What is important is that of the 1.52 trillion rupees in capital allocation, 68% will be reserved for procurement from Indian industry. In Budget 2021, 70,221 crore rupees, or about 63% of the defense capital allocation, was reserved for Indian industry. Meanwhile, 58% of the defense capital allocation was reserved for Indian industry in 2020-21, when such a component was set aside for domestic defense firms for the first time. In her budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the private industry would be encouraged to take up design and development of military platforms and equipment in collaboration with DRDO and other organizations through SPV model. The Finance Minister added that an independent nodal umbrella body would be set up for meeting wide-ranging testing and certification requirements. The Finance Minister also said that a quarter of the research and development budget of the Ministry of Defence will be set aside for private players, including startups and academia. On the face of it, such steps will definitely lead to the country's armed forces sourcing a greater share of their arms and equipment from the domestic industry. But will these items truly be of indigenous origin? Will they be designed and developed by the domestic industry? Or, as has happened often, will they be products designed by foreign original equipment manufacturers that Indian firms simply produce under a license?
Well, first of all, it has to be acknowledged that making a reservation for Indian industry is in itself a good thing, in the sense of that a certain quota is earmarked. And we can talk about whether that quota is implementable and how it's implementable. But it's good that a quota has been earmarked for Indian industry. The problem, however, is that they are counting 68% of orders placed. Now, the orders placed do not necessarily constitute 100% of the material that you're buying. For example, if they say we will reserve a certain order for Bharat Electronics, and that order is of the order of 1,000 crores. Bharat Electronics does not necessarily have to give all 1,000 crores of that to domestic industry orders, because at the end, Bharat Electronics is also going to suborder some of that order. So if it is earmarked in advance that the 1,000 crore rupees that Bharat Electronics is going to be given an order of, all 1,000 crore rupees of those have to be sourced from Indian industry, then it makes logical sense. But if Bharat Electronics goes and gives 500 crore rupees as a suborder to a foreign industry and 500 crores as a suborder to Indian industry, then you have not really earmarked 68% for Indian industry. You've earmarked only half of that amount. So, they will have to find a way of monitoring and checking that the order that they are placing on Indian industry is further sub-placed on Indian industry and not on foreign industry. And if some of it is placed on foreign industry, then that has to be adjusted in the order terms to cater for the foreign component.
The budget initiative in Ministry of Defense, where the capital acquisition was bifurcated into buying from Indian entities in rupees and foreigners, started about 3 years back. This was a demand of the Indian industry, and I have supported it vociferously. However, in the current scenario, it has become a little bit of a window dressing. The reason for that is simple, that DPSUs as well as a lot of Indian defense manufacturers do license production. And in a way, this item comes under foreign exchange, getting hidden under the Indian companies importing it on the behalf of Government of India. So if this initiative has to become robust, then we must, not at the budget level, but at the MOD level, very clearly articulate and bring out a matrix where we say how much we imported, how much we procured under this item, how much of that was foreign exchange paid items, and how much was real value addition by Indian industry. If we have that matrix, then and progressively track it, we would see a much better, much more meaningful result. Having said that, even with this little bit of tokenism, let's remember that when BrahMos production in India started, it was in a way tokenism, and in 10 years' time, we are exporting that item where R&D was done together with the Russians. That's the critical piece, that you have to do R&D, or better word would be D&D, design and development for an engineering in the country.
Hopefully, the government will take cognizance of these issues and accordingly adjust its strategy and policies for the domestic defense industry. Time alone will tell whether India will succeed in setting up an independent and self-reliant military-industrial complex that can meet the ever-growing and changing vital needs of its armed forces.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.